Hi, my name is Lena. I'll be your host for today's edition of the Erongo Talk, your favorite online trustworthy news show. On today's calendar day, today we celebrate the World Physiotherapy Day, proudly sponsored by Physiotherapy Association of Namibia. Stay tuned, relax, don't go anywhere. And it's now time for a news update. At media conference on Friday, MTC's chairperson Theo pointed out that 367.5 million ordinary shares, which represent 49% of MTC shares, will be made available to the general public offer, and it is expected to rise about 3 billion to 3.5 billion. The public is urged to follow different media channels for updates and an awareness campaign, including MTC website and social media channels, the chairperson printed out. The public offer, through which investors can apply for shares, will open on the 20th September 2021 and close on the 1st of November 2021. Objectives to this is to develop Namibia's financial sector, as it is critical for economic development, as well as to broaden economic participation through ownership by ordinary Namibians in a profitable public entity. In other news, LCM Lines, the national shipping line of the Democratic Republic of Congo, opened an office in Walvis Bay. LCM collects royalties from shipping lines that carry cargo to and from the DRC. Smith explained that Africa Union Cargo is part of Africa Union Holdings with offices across the globe. Erongo Governor Neville Andre said he was pleased that the DRC wants to operate its dry port in Walvis Bay, a move which will boost the local economy. Lastly, the opposite index of building completed Windhoek, Swakopmund, Walvis Bay, and Erongo for June 2021 increased by 10% on a monthly basis compared to a decline of 23.1 registered in May 2021. According to Namibia Statistics Agency, NCA, the normal value of the building plans completed during June 2021 amounted to 123 million compared to 111.8 million recorded in the previous month. The Swakopmund building plan completed index registered a monthly growth rate of 40.1% in June 2021 compared to a growth rate of 41.6% recorded in the preceding month. The decline recorded month on month were mainly reflected in the nominal value for the boundary walls, while the decline recorded year on year was attributed mainly to valuations of additions and alteration. With that said, for more information on our news updates, visit our website on www.erongo.com.na.
episode of Roland's Reflections. I want to speak to you about leading in crises, leading through disruption. We've all faced this COVID-19 virus, which has sort of made us all rethink how we approach things, what we're going to do going forward. But it's not just now, it's in any crisis. Throughout the ages, we've had crises. And if you look back at them, what happens with all the crises is that we go through three phases in a crisis. The first one is that we are blissfully moving along, everything is fine. No, it's not a problem, the way we were this time last year. Oblivious to anything that could possibly happen. And then we end up in the crisis. So everything changes, everything gets turned upside down, and suddenly we go into a panic mode. But like with any crisis before and with anything that's happened in life, there also comes an end. The question is, how are you going to come out the other end? If we look currently, I don't think that it's really been as bad. Probably economically, the closest that it's come to what's happening at the moment was maybe during the Great Depression in the 1930s. I don't think even the 2007-2008 economic crash had the same sort of effect that it's having now, especially on business and on economics and on companies and teams. Businesses are being driven to their knees. Businesses are going bankrupt simply because they are being put into a position where they can't operate as normal. I was interviewed a couple of weeks back on a live broadcast called Business Unusual. We're so used to business as usual. It's going to be business unusual. We're sitting in a situation where things are going to be different. It's not going to be the same. So what was is not going to be because of what's happening now, because of whatever crisis you're in. If you end up in a situation where you have to lay off staff, it's not the same after you finish. While you are in that situation, busy laying off staff, whether it is a crisis like we have at the moment, whether it is laying off staff, whether it is war, whether it is some other sort of disruption, you need to adapt and you need to make changes. And this is where your role as a leader comes in. It's very critical that you don't start the panic. Everybody's panicking. Everybody is fearful. Nobody knows what's happening. As humans, we are created, firstly, that we are resistant to radical change. We love things the way they are. We don't want things to be turned upside down and get disrupted. We like carrying on the way we are. We have our little patterns, we have our structures, and we like operating like that. So something comes along that threatens that, and suddenly we're up in arms. So your team is going to be reacting with panic and fear and anxiety to this disruption, whatever the disruption is. There's going to be more disruptions in the future. It's going to happen. There's going to be more viruses. There's going to be other disruptions, other crises that are going to come along that are going to test your leadership skills. So you need to be the beacon, as I've explained in previous videos. What you need to do is not react to the current situation. You need to take a longer term view. Look beyond the now. Look beyond what you see, the obvious, and look at what could possibly come. Now is the time to start having a vision. Now is the time to start thinking creatively. But you need to do that as the leader, and you need to calm your team down. You need to be able to get your team to rally around you and to buy into this vision of yours. It could be that you suddenly go from face-to-face meetings or face-to-face business practices to now going online. If you have a retail store, maybe now is the time to start selling your products online. In my case, I do speaking and I do coaching and consulting and training in leadership. I'm busy moving online. Currently, I'm online. I'm talking to you online. So things have changed. Yeah, some of these disruptions and changes have been subtle. The internet is coming. Computers are coming. All of this is coming, and we've just systematically, but it's because the change has been gradual. We've worked with it and we've developed to where we are now. You suddenly have one day it's like this and next day it's like that. Then we as humans, we kick against it. Our brains are focused organs. They don't like wide open chaos in that. So the minute that we get into a situation like this, that our brains are threatened, we are threatened, our status quo is threatened, we start taking a narrow view, we start focusing on a point. I'm telling you as a leader, focus past that. Look beyond what you see in the focus. Look beyond it. What is possible going forward? What are the possibilities when we get out of this? Where are we going to go to? It's not going to be the same it was. It's going to change. So as the leader, you now need to be the beacon, shining in the storm, in the mist, in the dust storm, in this chaos. You need to be that beacon so that your team can hone in on the beacon and they can follow you. They're not in the position to think and develop stuff. That's your job as the leader. So take them. Look out for their well-being. Lead them. Don't manage them. Lead them. Set the example. So you need to relax. You need to manage this disruption. You need to see past the obstacles. If you do that, you will be able to take your team into the next phase of what's to come. Whatever the change is. It could be starting over new. It could be adapting what you're currently doing. It could be diversifying. Just remember, somebody once told me, with every end, there's always a new beginning. And that's something that's important to hold on to. So what was has ended. We're in the middle of this disruption now. But you know what? There's a new beginning that's going to come out of this. So focus on what's behind the narrow vision. Get a vision. Get creative. Share that. Communicate with your team. Share with them. You relax. Don't panic. We will all get through this.
It's now time for our weather updates for Swakopmund and other major towns in the Erongo region. Stay tuned for the tides as well.
Sunrise was this morning at 6 minutes past 7 and sunset is expected tonight at 6 minutes to 7. Swakopmund expects a maximum temperature of 18 degrees Celsius for today with a minimum of 13 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 18 degrees Celsius for tomorrow. The wind is expected to prevail in a westerly direction at 9 kilometers per hour. Sunrise was this morning at 6 minutes past 7 and sunset is expected at 6 minutes to 7 tonight. This Bay expects a maximum temperature of 18 degrees Celsius for today with a minimum of 13 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 18 degrees Celsius for tomorrow. The wind is expected to prevail in a southwesterly direction at about 9 kilometers per hour. Sunrise was this morning at 7 minutes past 7 and sunset is expected at 5 minutes to 7 tonight. Atlantis expects a maximum temperature of 28 degrees Celsius for today with a minimum of 14 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 30 degrees Celsius for tomorrow. The wind is expected to prevail in a south-southwesterly direction at about 9 kilometers per hour. Sunrise was this morning at 4 minutes past 7 and sunset is expected at 8 minutes to 7 tonight. Usakos expects a maximum temperature of 36 degrees Celsius for today with a minimum of 15 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 37 degrees Celsius for tomorrow. The wind is expected in a west-northwesterly direction at about 9 kilometers per hour. Sunrise was this morning at 1 minute past 7 and sunset is expected at 10 minutes to 7 tonight. Karigap expects a maximum temperature of 35 degrees Celsius for today with a minimum of 14 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 36 degrees Celsius for tomorrow. The wind is expected in a north-northwesterly direction at about 11 kilometers per hour. Sunrise was this morning at 7 o'clock and sunset is expected at 11 minutes to 7 tonight. Omaruru expects a maximum temperature of 35 degrees Celsius for today, with a minimum of 15 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 36 degrees Celsius for tomorrow. The wind is expected to prevail in a north-northwesterly direction at 11 kilometers per hour. Sunrise was this morning at 7 o'clock and sunset is expected at 11 minutes to 7 tonight.
We've now come to the end of our show. Go like our Facebook page, visit our website on www.erongo.com.na, and if you have any video clips, contact us or share with us via our WhatsApp number 0811700047. And don't forget, sanitize those hands, keep wearing your mask, and stay safe. From me to you, it's bye.